remember, I love you on purpose, sugar. Welcome. You have Cassandra Hunt here, your host with Let's Talk Sugar. On today's show, we have community organizer and entrepreneur, Mr. Farrakhan Shegog, and he will be with us in a minute. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm feeling good, actually.
Okay.
I'm actually feeling pretty great.
You look sharp.
I appreciate you. So do you, always.
Thank you. So I want to start from the beginning so the viewers can get to know who you are, right?
Okay.
So we do have something in common. We both grew up on the north side.
For sure.
Different,
Different sides,
yeah,
but yeah.
But it's still the same thing.
But we here too.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk about you growing up, and we'll go into, where you are today.
Sure. I always say where you grow up, it dictates how you live the rest of your life and how your life is going to be.
Okay.
Growing up on the north side, I grew up on the 5300 block of North Kings Highway. Me and my whole family, everything from Kings Highway all the way up to Lillian, from Euclid all the way to Claxton, whatever. Like that was our stomping ground.
I'm familiar.
Growing up, went to Moore Twain, went to Lexington up Kings Highway and so forth. Older brothers and siblings went to Northwest, Beaumont, and all of that. But growing up, grew up with a village.
Okay.
We grew up in almost, some would say, the rough part of town.
But they loved each other.
But we loved each other.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was told as I got older, we grew up poor. But what my parents always say, well, we didn't know. They had no idea we was poor because we ate 3 times a day, had shoes on our feet, clothes on our backs, and came home to a village. So, I mean, what you mean by poor?
And a village don't only mean your house. People in the neighborhood, if you did things that you was not supposed to do, you was gonna get a phone call to your mama.
That's true. Or a few. Yeah,
and
that's true.
Get told, get home.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What stands out in your life growing up in that area? Like, who was the person for you?
Man, it was quite a few persons, but one that I specifically mentioned and give a huge shout out to. So shout out to my boy Keith Jefferson at Creative Touch Barbershop. My frat brother, by the way.
Hey, Mr. Keith.
But so I'm gonna give you this story real quick.
Okay.
So when I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old, so the house that I stayed in was right across the street from a barbershop. Well, at that time, it was a laundromat.
Okay.
We've seen that location go from a laundromat, convenience store, back to a laundromat, to a beauty shop, then back to a convenience store, and now to what it is today, a barbershop again. Growing up across the street, man, I was terrible. I was the one that what you just said, how parents used to call to the house about a kid in the neighborhood. Like, I was that kid.
Oh, Jesus.
Got a few phone calls, man, and what sucked about it was that everybody who I was getting in trouble by, they always knew my family. So word always got back one way or the other. But one day it was raining outside, and then, as you know, Kings Highway got the medians with the grass and the trees and everything. So it rained, me and my friends, we just being kids, obviously neighborhood nuisances, basically is what they called us. But we was outside one day and we see the city of St. Louis plant these brand new trees in the middle of Kings Highway. So we like, okay. The second that they left, we went over there to the tree, start shaking them, start ruining them.
Oh, my Jesus.
And this is where that village come in at. So as we were shaking them, a guy come yelling out his business. Hey, what the hell y'all doing? I promise you, at that second, everybody scattered. Everybody fled. I didn't run because my house is right across the street. So I have nowhere to run, and they know me. He's
gonna know where you live at.
Exactly. He know my mama name, my auntie name, my grandma name. He could yell right across the street, hey, Farrakhan over here tripping. But what he did was, he said, man, don't shake this tree. This is our tree. We're trying to beautify the neighborhood. So after he explained that, he explained that and then gave me my punishment.
Okay.
You know how it's usually punishment first
and then
tell you.
Yeah.
But he explained it first and then gave my punishment. Okay. My punishment was to sweep his shop every day after school. So I did that for a week straight.
Okay.
Did it so good, Keith came back and was like, I'm over there across the street fixing a bike. He yelled across the street, "Farrakhan, we need you." I'm like, "For what? My punishment over, bro. What you want?" "Come to work, come sweep the shop." So I went over there, and he started paying me every time I come in. So that ended up being my first job. On top of that, years down the line, I just kept seeing him in places.
Okay.
You know, I kept seeing him in business meetings. I kept seeing him in neighborhood meetings. I kept seeing him being associated with other men in the St. Louis area that was productive, positive, not trying to be lights, camera, action people, but they're literally in the neighborhood doing the work, saving lives, bringing people resources, helping people with a better life. And then when I found out that he was part of the same fraternity that I was interested in.
Okay.
Right? So that was another light bulb.
Okay.
Then at the same time, you know, we have a family barbershop as well. And come to find out
in
that—
U City, right?
In U City,
Okay.
yeah. And come to find out, Keith used to also train under my uncle that's running the barbershop to this day. So it was like some family relationships, some business relationships, and some community relationships
So he's
that I
out in
seen.
every way.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, bro, it's something about this dude that I need to see, that I want to see, and that I want to be. Like, he a family man, a husband, lover of his community, lover of just everything, man. Just a cool dude.
Not to cut you off, I've had the pleasure to work with Mr. Keith.
Yeah.
I brought back a back to school event to Walnut Park because I am from Jordan and Thekla.
Yeah.
Mr. Keith, I went into the shop, asked him, could he send barbers to cut hair?
Yeah.
First time encountering him. But every time after then, Mr. Keith it's a great energy around him.
Yeah.
It's no like ill intent.
Yeah.
He tells you how he feel. I've never heard him raise his voice.
Yeah.
He say what he means. Now, yeah, me and you too. Yeah, it's different for you and I.
Yeah.
But he's a great person.
Yeah,
He's
and
a
everybody
great person.
around him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keith is a cool guy, man. He saved me out. If I didn't have that job after school every day, I probably would have just been out in the destroying stupid stuff, destroying more trees.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Breaking in cars, busting windows, running on people's backyards, stealing bikes, and all of that stuff.
I find that important that we don't have enough people, enough men to correct young men now, because we have ignorant people in the world. You'll have a mother that don't say this to my son, don't talk, you know, instead of letting people, when you're in front of me, I think if you're doing something that's mischievous and I correct you, it's out of love. It's not to make you feel bad, down you, or anything like that, because I have 2 sons, and if my sons are misbehaving in front of you, you have the right to check them.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given. And maybe it's how people are raised as well. So you can't put it off on people, but if that's how you was raised, and we was raised in a community where they loved you.
Yeah.
You knew the mother of your best friend down the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You knew Suga. You went to the store and he gave you credit and all that kind of stuff. So
what makes it worse is the people that's calling also work at the school, right? And then the same store that we got to go to, he work in the store. You send the kids to the barbershop, it's the same guy. So it's like that village. You know what I'm saying? And I also think it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes I think that the space or the environment is not conducive for that kind of relationship to exist, I think, today. Because everybody, it's like, we want to badger each other more so than have dialogue and compromising on for the greater good.
we worry about the wrong things.
Yeah.
We worry about the wrong things. And instead of worrying about building your community back up and all that kind of jazz, you have people that's just moving into these homes. They're not their homes.
Yeah.
So they don't care about the community. They'll be moving again next year. You know what I mean? So that shows a difference too. When I was growing up, people own their homes. Like this is where they was raising their children and stuff like that. So you will make sure the other children on your street is not going to be destructive and tear up your neighborhood.
Well, I think there's a myth that's out there in St. Louis that renters are issues or renters
I don't
bring.
think not all of them.
Definitely not all of them. But that's the kind of narrative that I hear and that I get out in the community every day, that these are the problem people over here because they don't own their home. I would say that I know a lot of renters who are just as productive in the community as actual homeowners or business owners. I do think, however, that there should be a more comprehensive avenue for young people, or young people particularly, but people in general, you know, for them to have a roadmap from being so transient to being stationary and being able to solidify and build wealth with their own ownership. So I do think we do need to get to that point and create systems and policies that support that.
I think that the other problem is you have investors coming from all over the world, know nothing about your community, but they buy a house in your community and rent it out to someone they know nothing about. So not saying that all renters, because I am a landlord as well.
Sure.
And I have many properties. And in 10 years, I've only evicted 3 people in 10 years.
That's good.
But again, you get some people that talks a good game and they tell you how I'm going to do this, I'm going to take care of this, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And
then 3 months in, they're not paying their rent.
Sure.
So not saying that it's all renters, but if we have programs where people can, we help them buy homes instead of just sending them in different neighborhoods to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And on top of that, it's just like if you leave children unsupervised, they're going to do something that a child probably is not supposed to do.
Correct.
So the question then begins, are you mad at the child for doing what a child do, or should you be mad at yourself for not having the supervision when you know that the supervision was needed, right?
Yeah.
So it then becomes a situation where it is as if though, like, you know, be responsible. We also have to train and educate people how to be a responsible homeowner, right? That's what, again, the village, like, I can't stress this enough. The village is so key and so crucial to anybody and anything as you're trying to maneuver throughout this place that we call life. You know what I'm saying? The village. You ask a person, regardless of whatever they're doing in life, you ask them, who is in your village? Right? How strong is your village? How solid is your village? How trustworthy is your village? How supportive of your village? If you ask those unique questions to a person, it will also help you determine where that person could be in life, or where that person is trying to go in life. It reminds me of that one saying when they say, the person with the power is not the person with the power, but it's those that's around that person, that's influencing that person. So those are the kind of questions that we ought to be asking ourselves and our neighbors that, you know, that's just what it is.
I think here in, not even in Missouri, but all over the world, some of us have a problem with sharing information because you're so afraid somebody else is going to get it before you. And I think if we can steer people in a different way or a different view of seeing that, we'll get ahead faster than what we're getting.
Give me an example.
You want to start a trucking company and I have one.
Okay.
You just need a little help, little guidance of the next steps to take.
Yeah.
But I keep pushing you to the side, not helping you get ahead. So that's keeping you in the same predicament that you've always been in. When all you needed was a little help, a little encouragement, and a little push.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you don't get that.
Yeah. I look at it 2 ways.
Okay.
First, your way.
Okay. It's okay.
And that's the way where if you don't get the help, then what? Like you're left in limbo?
No, you have to do the research yourself. But is it always, for me, I want to research it first.
Sure.
I do, because I need to have a clear understanding. But you already been through it. So your way is going to be a little bit easier because you know what I should and should not do.
Sure.
That's the point I'm getting.
Sure.
You should research whatever it is, even if the person don't help you.
Yeah.
But if you already been there and done it.
Why not?
And you going to help me bypass a couple steps so I can get to where I'm getting faster.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Man, that is so interesting that you said that because now I'm finna tell you a little bit of something about myself, about just about that example. So by trade, as I shared with you before, I'm an aircraft inspector, right? So I went to aeronautics school. I can tear an airplane apart, put it back together. It'll take a couple hours, but I'll do it.
Okay.
the reason why I chose this career field was it's only one reason. I can make hella money.
Okay.
Hella money. But my ultimate goal was not to make hella money.
Okay.
My goal was to make hella money so that I can achieve my real ultimate goal.
Okay.
Which was one, put my baby sisters in college,
Okay.
buy my mama a house, and buy my first house. So it took a long time for me to achieve those three things.
Okay.
And when I tell you that I went to everywhere to get help from people that I thought could help. But at the same time, the people who I didn't ask for help, and this may be strange, but the people I didn't ask for help
We're the ones.
was my family,
Oh, okay.
right? And the reason why I didn't ask them for help was because they didn't have the means or the capacity to support. So I didn't ask.
Okay.
But instead, I went and worked my ass off so that I can be able to support them and help them get the capacity so that then when the time comes down the line, the family will be in a better position to be able to aid and assist.
Okay.
The same thing goes for when I came back to St. Louis and I first ran for city council of Wellston. And then the following 2 years I ran for state rep, right? Lost both of them. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate goal was not to win. It was to be able to let other people know that we don't have to live like this, right? And so
And you don't look at it as a loss. It was something that you went through.
Yeah.
It was a life experience and a life lesson.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't have those,
Yeah.
how would you be able to tell your story?
Look, man,
You would have none.
if I was waiting for other people to come and do this for me, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm grateful for the struggle. The struggle is beautiful. The struggle has been beautiful. It's been long, it's been hurtful, it's been painful. I've been stabbed in the back, I've been talked about, name been slung through the mud. Look, it's all worth it. Why? Because I put something behind something that I truly believe in and that I'm passionate about. And I'm able to use that to gain something in life, but that which I gain, I'm able to share it amongst other people so that they can come up as well. So it goes back to what you're saying, giving back. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always money. It's not always clothes. It's not always shoes. Sometimes it's time, energy, resources, and a word of encouragement.
But it's not how you started, it's how you finish.
Just how you finish, man.
It's how you finish every time.
Yeah.
And that's when you're going to get the pat on your back.
Yeah, sometimes, but yeah.
Even if you don't get it from nobody else, yourself.
Yeah.
That's when you get the pat on the back.
Man, yeah. Yeah, doing God's work.
Yeah.
You will think that everybody will be giving you a round of applause or pat on the back, but doing this work, no, you don't. As an organizer, you know, you go in different communities, and as an organizer, you know, there's just so much division, so much disunity, so much chaos, so much calamity in our communities. And everybody is, or quote unquote leaders, right?
Yep.
Are vying and fighting for influence and control and superiority and all of these other higher authority rankings and things like that. But that's not what you should be chasing.
Yeah.
Right? You should just be chasing to do right and to do good by people. Get the egos, get the attitudes, get all of that out of the window and just focus on trying to improve somebody's life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And helping raise somebody up. So man, my struggle, my upbringing, it's been a blessing because it's been a struggle, and I've learned a lot of things, able to share a lot of things, and it actually humbles you. You know, it humbles you real good.
So I'm grateful that you, at some point in your life, you wanted better.
Yeah.
To make you do better.
I was terrible.
I'm grateful for that because I went on the college tour with you.
Yeah.
And I learned so many things.
Yeah.
You love history. You love Black people in a whole.
Yeah.
So with that being said, tell us about your organization.
Yeah, man. So Young Voices with Action, youth organization aimed at educating engaging and empowering youth to be developers in their own community.
Okay.
There's so many youth across St. Louis and St. Louis County that have came to us and said, Farrakhan, I'm tired of seeing this condition in the neighborhood. I'm tired of the puppeting of our representation. I'm tired of my voice being ignored. I'm tired of seeing people just suffering and et cetera. So the response then was, well, what solution do you bring to the table? Or do you want to sit here and just continue to have conversations about the issue when we are living it, we are experiencing it, we're constantly being told about it, it's constantly being shoved down our throats. So every avenue you're getting the issue, but you're not getting avenues for solutions. So their solution was, well, we can't change it if we don't own it. So Young Voices with Action have been working to educate and train these young people to be the masters of their own community. That means learning how to be a responsible citizens, learning how to give back, learning how to own your own home, learning how to set up a business, learning how to run for office, learning how to bridge relationships and partnerships to be able to help achieve a common goal in your neighborhood. If you say your issue is to eliminate all vacant properties, well then Young Voices with Action is going to assist you and show you a roadmap on how you yourself can get your finances together, learn how to manage your money, learn how to go and get different lines of credit, loans, grants, etc. Teaching you homeownership through a Pathways to Homeownership program, and really building a village and a support system around you to help you through this process. And then once that young person has successfully accomplished that goal, we on to the next property, the next property, the next property, while at the same time giving that young person the opportunity to generate wealth and keep wealth within their own family, while at the same time keeping it within the community. That way we won't have those investors coming into the community buying up everything. We won't have individuals' properties sitting for 20 years being vacant and et cetera. And if they are, and individuals are complaining, well, why do we still have these issues? And they excuse is, we can't find no developer, we can't find enough black people, nor we can't find enough workforce. And then here's Young Voices with Action. We're competent, we're concerned, and we're committed enough to do this job. Now what's the excuse? So now there's no excuse to not support young people in home ownership. There's no excuse not to eliminate vacant houses. We have young people graduating from college that's ready to be first-time home buyers. We have people who are still staying with their parents and grandparents who are working good-paying jobs, but they're not being shown the avenue to own their own home. You know, so that's what Young Voices with Action is about. We consist of educators, pastors, we consist of elected officials, we consist of mentors, we consist of business owners, we consist of, you know, all kinds of professionals, and that's what we're grateful for. Aircraft mechanics.
I'm proud. I'm proud. And I love the fact that you say we. You never say I. Even when we're off camera and we having our own private conversation, you always make sure those around you that help with this gets recognized.
That's what's key.
You know
takes
what I mean?
a village, man.
You know what? That made me proud. That made me proud. Thank you for that. What big plans do you have coming up here?
So Young Voices with Action coming up and ongoing now. So we have 3 major projects going on right now, ongoing projects. So when we talk about Black Wall Street, the Black Wall Street 314, it takes place every June, last weekend in June, on Martin Luther King in the historic Wellston Loop. And our goal behind the Black Wall Street Festival is to lure awareness and investment in a historic disenfranchised neighborhood, the Wellston Loop neighborhoods, the neighborhoods that surround the Wellston Loop. Many of our parents and grandparents remember Wellston.
My grandparents, she tell me stories, and she like, Wellston was nice. You wanted to go and hang out in Wellston because it was nice.
They remember Easton. They remember Franklin Boulevard. So all of these good memories that our parents and grandparents have, it's not our memory, and it's not what it's complete opposite. And so part of Black Wall Street Festival, it's not just a party in the street or a festival in the street. This is Young Voices with Action, biggest fundraiser of the year. And we use this fundraiser as a catalyst to fund our own community advocacy and community activism. So we're not going or begging the government, or we're not begging any other individuals to give us what we need to do for ourselves. So we use this fundraiser to kickstart our community work. But within that umbrella of Black Wall Street 314 consists of 3 major projects. One consists of a mixed-use development project that we are working on right now in the 5900 block of Martin Luther King. This will be the first development project in the Western Loop in 32 years.
Is this in the part of Martin Luther King by the bus loop?
A few feet to the east. So this is between Hodemont and Hamilton. And this building will consist of brand new 16 luxury studio apartments. And also 4 commercial units down on the bottom. This will also be the future home of Young Voices with Action, and also our development company, Easton Development, as well. And this project is a catalytic project for the area. Everyone on that corridor, from our experience, everyone have a great idea. And everybody, it goes to what you were saying earlier about not sharing the information or not telling someone where they got this or where they got that because they want to get it. And that's understandable.
And it's not that, I'm gonna say this. If you want a trucking company and I have one, I can't service the whole world.
Absolutely.
It's impossible.
Absolutely.
So me sharing with you is not gonna put me behind. Because what God got for me is for me, right? And what God has for you is for you. So your trucking company may go in a different direction that I didn't even know anything about. Since I gave you this little bit of information, you put that information with whatever you had researched yourself and came up with a whole different game plan. So now I may need to call you back and say, hey, I'm interested in that now.
And everybody can thrive. Right? It's the same way with development, right? We are a island of this brand new building, right? And as I said, if we're trying to highlight the area, we just can't talk about our building or what we're doing. We got to talk about what other people are doing and how all of this can complement the overall area, because that's the goal. And so our development project, by us jumping out, being one of the first to say, we're raising $10 million to build this project on this building. This is what it's gonna look like. This is what it's gonna house. And what that does is that it breaks the glass ceiling. So now that we have a group, a neighborhood group, residents, right, that is breaking the ceiling, now everybody else that's been holding back, now it's time for y'all to come out too. So now we expect by our project being out there and saying that this is happening and is breaking ground in 2023, we expect the JCPenney building, that announcement to be coming soon. We expect the Western Loop building to be coming soon. We expect the new healthcare center to be coming soon. We expect the new construction of the funeral service, to be being announced soon. All of this complements the overall health and the overall transformation of that neighborhood, and that's why our project on Martin Luther King is a catalytic project.
And I think that it's great being on Martin Luther King. Because for many years, even when I was a kid, Martin Luther King was known for other things. You have people sitting out there.
Be honest, drugs, prostitution, overdosing, hunger, all indicators of a disenfranchised and neglected community.
So I think I would love to see a building put there for those people. They don't have to sit outside. You bring them in and you help them get better. Because if nobody's coming there to help this person off the ground, tell them that they better than getting in a car with a man. Tell them that they're better than doing drugs because they have past life drama or trauma, I'm sorry. How would they know better? They have nobody to help them, lift them up. So all the businesses that's going to come there, I think are amazing. It's amazing. But instead of this funeral home being used for the people in that community, let's find something to help them other than the clinic. The
good thing is about us using this project to attract more awareness, more investment, change of attitude toward this area, that now conversations like that are now being had.
Okay.
Because now even the city, the state, and the feds, this project just received $916,000 from U.S. Congress, received an additional $500,000 from the state of Missouri. So now the team is working on obviously continuing to fundraise, but now that they have a hopeful reason for this area through our project, now the conversation's been, well, what are we going to do about this and that and this and that? Great. Now let's talk about money and investing so that we can serve those individuals.
Because you don't want to move those individuals to somebody else's neighborhood.
You can't, no.
It's not fixing the problem.
Nope.
If you don't get those people up and get them help.
Yeah. Well, let me go to the second project, the other second important thing that we have coming up, because I don't want to downplay just the negativity that a typical person see riding down that street, Martin Luther King, and it sucks that that street bears the name of our civil rights hero, and to see the conditions that is in is heartbreaking. But keep in mind that there's streets across the country
that's like
that are similar, right?
And it's saddened me, because why is it Martin Luther King in different states that look this way? Why is it other civil rights names that you make these places look this way? You know what I mean? Because they had to get the drugs from somewhere. You had to bring them to our community for these people to even become this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why?
Why? That's a good question. Well, I'm gonna go to the other two projects, and then I'm gonna come back to that, because I think that that's an important question. But the second effort and initiatives that we have going on is around the corner from this $8 million mixed-use development project, is that Young Voices with Action and our partners have adopted the 5300 block of Lotus. Okay. On the 5300 block of Lotus, there's a 80% vacancy on that block. The remaining 20% are seniors, elderly, and transient renters. Okay. And our goal have been to, number one, to organize that block into a block unit. And by organizing that block into a block unit, identifying what remaining 20% of the residents needs assistance. Okay. What 20% of these individuals need home repair funds.
So how are you going about this?
How we going door to door and how we're just doing the engagement. So just yesterday, we hosted a block party. We had individuals sign up for our programs. One individual called us and said, hey man, one of these city-owned properties fell on my house and I got a big old hole in my house. Jesus. The city's not fixing it. Young Voices with Action did a car wash and wrote a grant to help compensate this young lady to fix that hole in the wall. Now, yeah, the city we don't even know if the city may reimburse her or not, but she couldn't go a winter with a big old hole in a tarp on her wall. So our team, as we're doing our engagement, we said, well, let us see how we can help you. You know, here's $1,000. It's not much, but here's something that can go towards it from our community. And so that 20%, she's one of those 20% that's still on the block, that's occupied. And so we go house by house, knock on every single door, introduce ourselves, ask for a first name, last name, ask for a phone number, ask for an email, and ask them, what do you need to make sure that you can stay in your house and that this house can be passed down to the next generation of your family, and this wealth can be kept here in your family and in this community. Okay. So then we assess, and then we provide the necessary tools and support that they need. But then for the vacant properties that are vacant, you know, we contact the owners, we contact the city, we contact the investors, and we say, and we let them know we are a community. We have a goal of making sure that every house on our block is occupied, is beautified. We making sure that nobody in this neighborhood is being displaced. Okay. We want the property values to be up to par. We want everyone to be able to hold on and to build wealth in this community to where this block can be be 100% occupied.
Okay.
That's our goal. And so we have just been recently awarded close to 75 grand to simply begin renovations of 2 vacant houses on the 5300 block of Lotus. And so now the same young people that we have in our Pathways to Home Ownership program, by the time that the house is done with the renovation and by the time that they finish their Pathways to Home Ownership, they will be in a position to purchase this home for the first time.
Okay.
Now we have a vacant house that's no longer vacant. We have a family occupying this house, and now we have a productive member of that block being involved and making sure that we're duplicating this process from this house to the next house. The third project is in the city of Wellston, which is where I reside now. Since 2017, our organization, I've been working with the largest landowner in Wellston, which is St. Louis County. And we have been petitioning them for years for us to acquire several vacant lots in the Etzel Heights subdivision.
Is this the LRA?
The LCRA.
Okay.
And so in the LCRA, we have proposed to them that we would construct single-family homes. And we're still going through the process, the negotiations about the land. But again, it goes back to you can't change your community unless you own it. If you don't own your community, then we'll have to go to those who own it and beg and ask and wait for them to do the right thing to us. And when you ask the question, well, why is it like that? Or what was your question? Because I said I was going to come back to it. You mentioned why is it that our communities are, I can't think of your specific question, but I know my answer. I know my answer to the question that I don't even remember what you asked.
I was asking why does, no matter the state, why is Martin Luther King or the other activists named streets have drug use, prostitution, drug dealers, killings, all in those communities.
So you say you went on a trip with us, right?
I did. I had a good time.
So when we went down to Jackson, you saw the neighborhood that Medgar Evers' home was in. You go down to you go right down to St. Louis in the Ville. And you look at Chuck Berry, his home, his old house. You look at Sumner High School. You look at the site where Poor Rose College, where Annie Malone taught Madam C.J. Walker at, right? You go to those places, and all of those places in all of those areas, it looks deplorable. And you ask the question, why is it like that? And my response is because we are asking someone else to take care of this for us. We are giving someone else to tell our story, to manage our own community for us, to provide a service to us where we're becoming a dependent people or a dependent community.
And in that, they're going to give us the bare minimum.
They're going to give us the bare minimum. And at the same time, what it's also going to do is that it's going to continue to further disenfranchise the community. My response to your question is like that because we have failed to produce the quality leadership that protects our most valued assets, our history and our property. We failed. There's not a strong, consistent, solidified, and relevant pipeline of young people and all of the noise that we make in the streets to transition to policy change that also can transition to an improved quality of life. That pipeline has been disrupted. They bring drugs, they bring sex, they bring all of these other nuisances that causes our communities to be fractured. And because we're fractured, it means that we don't have an answer or a solution to our own problems. So that creates a space and environment for somebody else to come and say, y'all should do this and y'all should do that.
But don't have the best interest.
And don't have the best interest.
They ain't from where you from.
You see what I'm saying?
They ain't from where you from.
That's why it's so key for Young Voices with Action to continue to train the next generation of community leaders.
Because the only way we gonna do better if we get better from the generation before. Like the generation before us, they loved their homes. They were proud, right? And then you start getting older and you can't cut your grass as often and pull the weeds as often, but you don't have people in the community to come and help Mr. Johnson because they got their own life.
Well, I'm gonna tell you about the ambassadors program, because the ambassadors program currently right now, we just assisted almost 6 families from basements being flooded. Young Voices with Action since August of 2021 have been consistently maintaining disabled, elderly, and veterans grasses. We make sure that their snow is sidewalks are shoveled. We make sure their driveways are salted. We make sure that if they have debris in their backyard, that it's removed. We clearing fence lines. We've replaced several porches in Wellston. We've replaced several roofs in the city of St. Louis. We've provided multiple plumbing assistance. Our young people are serious about this, and when they say that there's not competent, concerned, and committed young people in St. Louis, I asked them this question: who the hell are you talking to? Or where are you hanging around? Because I see positive and productive, committed young people everywhere, and they doing great things. So who are you talking to, or who are you not talking to?
When the majority wins,
yeah,
that's when they can't talk about the good things that's happening because there's so many bad things that happen.
That's right.
So when so many bad things happen, you're stuck on that, right?
Yeah,
because we get videos of police officers doing great by people.
Yeah.
But you also have police officers that does not.
Sure.
So the good police officers don't get the light shined on them.
Yeah.
And they go back to the community too. People that's doing good in your community.
Yeah.
How could we get this to spread out? How could young voices be in other people's communities so we can get talked good about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just like when people talk about Geraldine.
Yeah.
I know the good in Geraldine.
Yeah.
Now, is there killing? Is there
sure.
Yes, it is.
Sure.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
But I know families that still live there who bought multiple houses in the community so they can stay in their community and do right by their community. But nobody talks about those people.
Yeah. You know, and that's why, you know, there's a lot of people in St. Louis that are doing great work. You are doing absolutely,
I appreciate
the Hunt Foundation, and every other business venture that you have, trucking, home care, all of that. Real estate, you're doing great work. And there's a lot of people in St. Louis that is about the work. And even though they don't want to tell their story, that the space or a platform, they just need to know that the space and the platform is always available for them to do it. And in any case that they don't want to tell it, at least they know that they can count on somebody worthy enough to tell their story for them. And in order to be able to have a worthy person to tell your story where you can trust me to tell your story. And in order for you to do that, we have to be able to train up that person that we're saying is trustworthy so that they can be trustworthy. You know what I'm saying?
Because sometimes you don't have to fight your own battle.
Yeah.
If I'm in a room with a group of people and they're talking bad about Farrakhan Shegog, I get to defend you.
You get to intervene. Like,
so you don't even have to go back to defend yourself because you know I handled it in that room.
Yeah.
Now, whatever, if you did do something bad that was untrustworthy to that person, I don't know about it. So I'm going to speak about the good.
Yeah.
And if you have that many people in a room that's going to talk good about you, that's going to outweigh that one bad thing that one person encountered.
As it should. As it should. What do you say? Where one or more gathered in my name, I will be in the presence. And by being in the presence, that means being in the presence of good. Being in the presence of righteousness. Being in the presence of just positivity. So, yeah, man, I'm grateful for it all.
Well, I appreciate you coming to speak with me.
Is it gonna be a part 2?
I mean, we could.
Because you know, man, like we ain't even hit the tip of, we just hit the tip of the iceberg. We still got a huge chunk to cover. You know, but I'm excited. Thank you.
You can be the Bow Wows of the show. You know, Bow Wow kept coming back to 106 in Park.
Did he?
He did.
No? Okay.
Yeah, he came back.
I guess you can cook. Okay, all right.
Well, guys, you have it. This is Farrakhan Shegog. And this is the conclusion of our interview. I appreciate you coming.
Man, I appreciate you for keeping it real and for inviting me.
Thank you. You look nice too.
Absolutely, you do too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Till
appreciate
next time, remember, I love you on purpose, sugar. I'll talk to you later.
No, that's right.